What does it mean to live simply? What's simple about our complex world? Living simply, in fact, it seems to be at odds with our hectic and our complicated lifestyles. We live in a world of stock market derivatives and futures. There's HMOs and MRIs and EKGs, CT scans. We live in a tangled World Wide Web kind of world, with smartphones and smart cars. Our calendars are full of recitals, practices, games, homework, meetings, lunch appointments. Living simply in the 21st century seems tough, challenging, maybe even impossible. And yet, here we are, we're talking about Christian simplicity. What is that? How are we to make simplicity Christian? Perhaps we should first say what Christian simplicity is not. Christian simplicity is not taking a vow of poverty. Sure, there are some Christians throughout the centuries who have devoted themselves to living lives on the barest of means. St. Francis comes to mind. But today we do need certain things to live: clothing, shelter, food. Committing ourselves to a simple way of living, it doesn't mean shedding all of our clothes, putting on a burlap sack, and moving to a monastery. Christian simplicity is also not plainness or ugliness. Living simply as a Christian doesn't mean that we give up our artwork or our stained glass windows or our ornate churches. There is a place for aesthetics and for beauty in Christian simplicity. In fact, it's a beautiful God whom we worship. A God who is about doing beautiful things in this world. A God who is about the beauty of forgiveness and mercy and reconciliation. Christian simplicity is also not rural living. When we see the panoramic views of rolling hills and serene farms, we're tempted to say, well, that's the simple life. Those of us who live in the city, we often romanticize the rural way of living. That life seems so much slower, laid back, relaxed, and, simple. But if you've ever been to a dairy farm or a tobacco farm, there is little that is simple about silos and combines, crops, feed, and animals. Also, we live in the city. People must, for jobs, for family. So if living simply doesn't mean forgoing all of our possessions, or giving up all the things that are beautiful, or retreating to the outskirts of town, what does it mean to live simply? What is Christian simplicity? Maybe Christian simplicity means that we live by a different set of standards that are different than the rest of the world. Christian simplicity is about intention. It's about not mindlessly consuming. The simple Christian life doesn't simply consume what the marketers or the advertisers tell us we need. It's about honestly and prayerfully distinguishing between our needs and our wants. Christian simplicity is about setting limits. It's about taking and using only what we need. Christian simplicity, it's about rest. I love what St. Augustine said in a prayer once. He said, "O Lord, our hearts are restless until they rest in you." It's about slowing down, about breathing. It's about thanking God. Christian simplicity, it's about resting in the knowledge and in the grace of God who provides. We worship a God who cares for even the birds of the air and the grass the field. O Lord, our hearts are restless until they simply rest in you.